Hi everybody, this is episode 3 of Luxury Living with Ram Rattan Group. I'm your host of the show, Richa Mehta, a model, actor, and entrepreneur, and also the proud brand ambassador of Ram Rattan Group. Today we have somebody very special. So without wasting even a single minute, let me just hold on to my cue card and introduce him. We have Mr. Sanjay Baweja, a seasoned professional in the financial world. Mr. Sanjay's journey spans various categories and roles, including Managing Director, Global CEO of OnMobile Global Limited, Group President at Bhartiya Group, and Group CFO at Flipkart. With a background in CA, cost, and work accountancy, Mr. Sanjay brings a wealth of experience in strategy, finance, and business transformation. Join us as we delve into his insights and experiences across diverse sectors and his current endeavors as an entrepreneur, mentor, and investor in cutting edge startups. Let us put our hands together and welcome the guest of the star of this chat show, Mr. Sanjay Baweja.
Namaskar.
Welcome, Mr. Sanjay.
Namaskar, and thank you for inviting me to your show. It's a privilege and an honor for me to be here.
I think it's our privilege to have such a multi-dimensional personality who has worked through all the stream which I could actually think or feel of.
Well, it's really humbling to when I hear your introduction. So thank you.
Thank you so much. So we have series of questions today, which our production team and the creative head has really jotted down to. Also, because you have different parameters which you have worked upon your entire life, so we will be having one question from that as well. लेकिन हम एंड थोड़े से फन वे में करते हैं. वी हैव रैपिड फायर क्वेश्चंस जो कि हम चाहेंगे कि आप उसका तुरंत आंसर दे सकें.
Yeah.
So are we
I,
ready?
yeah, we are ready. But let's start with the bigger things and then let's go to the rapid fire.
Absolutely. So yes, we are going to start with the bigger thing to understand you better. So, Sanjay, can you share with me like the key milestones in your career that led to your current role as an entrepreneur and mentor?
As you very eloquently mentioned that I have a finance background and which has been the hallmark of my career. I've been actually industry agnostic, so I'm not really constrained by a particular industry. The best part of this diverse category portfolio has been the learning that I got from each assignment, be it telecom from Airtel and Tata Communications, be it real estate from EMAR MGF, which I set up, which I was like the first guy to be there, first employee, or the Bhartiya Group, or retail from Flipkart, or even renewable energy. I've been CFO for Suzlon, the global CFO for Suzlon for some time. I got tremendous management exposure, specifically in Bhartiya and OnMobile. Also, I've had some consulting exposure, which has been with BLS International, which gave me another industry perspective related to travel. So my entrepreneurship really started post Flipkart, and so did my investment and mentorship. Today, Flipkart, that's the foray which really exposed me to the startup world and gave me an understanding of what entrepreneurship is all about. And that's really in in short my career, so to say.
Oh, I'm sure about that. So, talking about you was just talking about your diverse background, like telecommunications, e-commerce, renewable energy. How has this varied experience shaped your approach to business and leadership?
Yeah. So like I said, it's about various industries. So my finance background did was that it sharpened my focus on analytics, for working in any industry, whichever I've been part of. So also the varied industries opened up my mind to various nuances of businesses, which I think are most critical when you start up your own venture. Also, to top it is the capability it taught me to understand people. When you meet various people across industry spectrum. There are various kinds of people, and that understanding of people and mostly relationship is which enabled my networking, which to my mind is the future for entrepreneurship. And that's where I began, and that's the real change that came into me from an entrepreneurship perspective.
I think I share a similar journey because being a college topper to doing MBA in finance to being the only student who got placed in one of the leading MNCs, Ernst and Young. And while I also being interviewed by channels, they asked me, being finance to fashion, what has finance told you? मैं तो एक ही चीज बोलती हूँ, उसने मुझे पैसा गिनना सिखाया है, मुझे पैसे को समझना सिखाया है, और
Yeah.
how I can fully utilize that, like you have mentioned. I think nothing goes waste. Everything you learn in your life, whether it comes to your education or your corporate experience, really adds on to the total value of what you do in the life, right?
Hmm. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. To any business, the key is money. And if you are able to take care of that money part, that's how it'll get defined. That money is the thing, and if you're able to associate yourself with how to earn it, how to spend it, I think you're there.
Right. Absolutely. How has been your journey with Ram Rattan Group?
So my journey with the Ram Rattan Group dates back, I think, 20 years when they first launched the Sitapur farms. The experience was extremely pleasant, and the personal touch of Vijayji was awesome. I think the most important thing that stands out for Ram Ratan Group is the creation of trust, which is so important in real estate business. You know what? Let me say that one of the biggest factors that real estate sales is the trust creation between the developer and between the buyer. And in to that extent, I think the Ram Ratan Group and Vijayji specifically gets 100% marks. Honestly, if you look at how the real estate sector works, there is a certain amount of trust deficit which exists ab initio. The moment you think of a real estate deal, there is this trust deficit. Oh, whether I can believe in that guy, whether he's going to deliver, whether he's going to do all things straight. I think that's where Vijayji excelled in giving so much comfort to his prospective customers like me. I think that has really helped the group grow, and that also encouraged people like me, and specifically me, to do multiple investments through the group in their various developments. And ever since that first investment, I've been dealing with and trying to understand each and every development that they've done, and try to participate in that. And I think every time it's been a very positive thing for me. I've never had a situation where I've lost money, if I may use the words. So it's been great experience. Uh, the trust that I now have in the group is phenomenal, and I think that is the key for the group and specifically for Vijay.
Absolutely rightly said. And whosoever I talk to, I am representing the brand for almost 4 years now. And trust, loyalty, royalty. Everybody talks about that. So, on this note, I would request the production team to please play a video by Ram Rattan Group. That's a small representation of Ram Rattan Group. On this note, talking about your extensive experience in strategic initiatives, how do you see the real estate landscape evolving, particularly in the luxury farmhouse segment, where Ram Rattan Group actually operates?
So let me give a broad perspective of my understanding from the real estate market. My belief is that And what I've seen over the past so many years is that the real estate market is very cyclical in nature. It there will be a sudden spurt in terms of increase in value, and then there will be some period of stability, and then the next step. And so it's like a step function where we have longish period of stability, and then again a spurt in value through a re-rating process. In India, over a long term, one has not seen a reduction in value. To be honest, there has been spurts and stability, but there's not been a a downturn in so. And specifically in the farmhouse culture, which is taken over, if I may say, the NCR group in the last, I should say, 15 years. Uh, the real farmhouse culture has specifically become very big in the last 3 4 years. While it was always progressing pretty rapidly as far as Delhi is concerned, but now across the country there is this aspect of having the farmhouse, specifically post COVID. So after the first wave of COVID, people were I think, and anybody who's wanting to put money in land over the last 3 years has made phenomenal gain in value due to substantial re-rating of the value of the land. I think in the last 3 years, specifically in the residential part, or even in many other, most of the micro markets, if you were to look at it, there has been a substantial increase. Leaving aside a few very specific city focused, the Delhi focus or the Mumbai focus, where anyway the values are very high, all over NCR and otherwise across. So my belief is this value or this cycle of enhancement has just started. I think it'll take another 5 years for it to start plateauing down. My
Right.
personal belief is that the current decade belongs to land asset creation. When I say the current decade, I say from the 2021 to about 3031. I think this 10 years is from an India perspective, a lot from an NCR perspective belongs to land asset creations. Any investment in land, people who've done it in 2021 onwards, they've already got gains. And my sense is that over the next 5 6 years, we will see substantial gains happening across the board.
And absolutely, and I think people from across age groups. I mean, starting like in the last chat, she was with Miss Lamba. I was having it, and she was saying that you know investing in FDs, SIPs in varied ways to investing in land. People after COVID are really valuing that and understanding the fact that land really appreciates over the time and it gives you a good value.
I was talking to somebody, and this person is a real estate uh, king in that sense. He's been in real estate for a longish period, 25 years, what he told me yesterday. And one of the things that he said is that over his investment, and he started investing in real estate 20 years ago. You were just 5 years into real estate, and he understood the he says over this longish period of 20 years, he's got a CAGR of between 12 to 14%. He says if you were to take an ROI and look
Right.
at it in an overall perspective, for the last 20 years, annual return that he's got is between 12 to 14%. And FD will never get you that kind of money. FD will get you 8, 10%. And mind you, the taxation laws are also a lot in favor of the capital gains part. So
Right.
clearly, there is a case for real estate being part of your asset portfolio. There's no question about that. It will
Absolutely.
always give you better returns than FD, and maybe lower
FD
one.
gives you 7 to 8%, and then of
And
course, we go for mutual.
taxable at your normal rate. So if your
Right.
normal rate is 35%, you get a tax on that. Here you get indexation, you get lower taxation. So capital gains in the long run is always beneficial.
Right. Um, Talking about the emerging trends, like we were talking about the emerging trends. The demand in farmhouses, especially considering the changing preferences of buyer in urban and semi-urban areas. We were just talking about the demand, and like you mentioned, and I was also talking about just seeing the weightage of investing through FDs, SIPs, and a lot of other ways, trading and so on, to investing in land. So I think it's appreciating. So What are your thoughts when we talk about the youngsters who are looking forward or in terms of investing in land?
So I think, today people, especially post COVID, are wanting to have what you call small vacations, a weekend
Yeah,
plus another day, and they would want vacations to go.
right.
And nothing better in people's
Home away
mind
from home.
to move away from the urban chaos. And more and more, so while a lot of people go to hotels, nothing better than having it in your own place. So that's something, especially the middle age. When you say young, the young has been redefined, if I may call it. The aspiring youngsters today, and I'm not talking about the 20 to 30, but definitely 30 to 40 years of age, are looking for peace and tranquility, away from
Yeah.
the commotion
There
and
has been a
pollution.
shift.
So they want to get away from the urban centers. They and the luxury farms give you that opportunity. It's very aspirational in its nature. People who were till now having a flat of their own or had just invested in a flat are now looking at something different, and that gap is very beautifully filled up by by being ownership of farms, and that's what is driving that behavior. Ownership of farm is one of the things that people most boast about. Let me say that, and it is definitely an improvement from a quality of life perspective. So, more than anything else, if you say that you own a farm, that's it. You've arrived in life. So that's how people take it, and that's what is driving demand across NCR and across India, actually, to be honest. And my view is this is just the beginning. This is just
This
the
is just
beginning.
the beginning. Right. I mean, talking about the younger generation, of course, I have been all throughout like a finance student, shifting from getting these small gains to getting into investing in land and yielding money, which really adds value to my overall portfolio. I have seen the change, and I have so many friends of mine who are pilots, who are into aviation industry, who are into corporates, and they are also doing the shift only because पीस ऑफ माइंड तो ग्रीनरी के आसपास ही आता है और
Yeah,
like I was mentioning home away from home we
yeah.
see that we have felt that and I personally have visited a lot of sites of Ram Rattan Group to understand in a better way.
Hmm. No, let me also add to that. If the given the kind of land connectivity which has happened over the last 5 to 10 years, see, if you are able to reach your farm within 1 or 2 hours of your travel time out from your home, I think that's what you want. You want to be close to your home so that availability is not a constraint, and yet you want to be away from the chaos. You want to be away from the pollution, and nothing better than a farmhouse. You can be away and yet be very close to your place of residence, and enjoy life. Today there is this lot of this culture of work from home. You can be in your farmhouse and work from home in that sense. So that's what is really driving. The connectivity, the infrastructure, that is adding to this phenomena of you know staying slightly away from your home or your actual residence, and yet be connected and very close to. And when I say close, I mean close in terms of time, because look at the developments that Ram Rattan Group has done. They are now within, starting between 40-50 minutes of, let's say, Gurgaon, to within an hour and a half. That's like close. What else would you want? That you can go there any weekend and every weekend, or you may decide to stay there for a week or so, and that's it. That's what you want. You want to be connected to your world and yet be away from the chaos.
Totally agreed. Totally, completely agreed. Now we'll quickly have parameter-wise questions where I'll ask you. Like the first one is sustainability in real estate,
Mhm.
and sustainability is a growing concern globally. How can the real estate industry, especially in the context of farmhouses, incorporate sustainable practices without compromising on luxury and comfort?
So let me first try and define sustainability as I understand it. To my mind, it's a system of meeting your current needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. It's not something that we destroy the our environment so that the future generations gets impacted. It kind of involves balancing your economic, environmental, and your other social factors to promote long-term well-being. That's what I, and it's like using your resources from an entire ecosystem perspective so that that gets preserved. So now coming specifically to the farmhouse, how farmhouses can contribute. So first of all, own food. You grow your own food. Typically, any farmhouse will have a kitchen garden, large ability to grow your own food. So that reduces your reliance on going to the market and spending carbon fuel and fossil fuel to you. So all that emission is taken care of. Also, farmhouses are like a green lung, right? So they will have
Right.
larger plots, larger green spaces. That really helps. In any case, when you have openness, you reduce your energy consumptions. And many farmhouses, mind you, incorporate solar heating, natural ventilation. They will use products which are natural in nature. This helps them reduce the overall consumption and reliance. And then the other aspect is water conservation itself. Farmhouses generally utilize rainwater harvesting systems and sustainable irrigation practices. So that will minimize water usage. Clearly, carbon usage or carbon minimization, farmhouses and orchards and other green spaces often reduce the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Overall, I think the farmhouses can really play a very, very valuable role in promoting sustainability by fostering these connections to nature. I think when you're connected to nature anyway, and you reduce the environmental impact and really promote your self-sufficiency from all aspects. So that's what I believe how it is
Very
helped.
rightly answered. Very rightly answered, and I totally agree to that. Moving from sustainability to financial leadership in real estate. As a financial leader with experience in diverse sectors, which we have been talking about and vouching for it, how do you approach financial strategies in real estate industry, considering its unique challenges and opportunities?
I personally believe that, in real estate, there are two aspects or two possibilities when you put money to work from a real estate perspective. One is for self-consumption or self-use. You're buying, for example, a farmhouse, you're buying a house. So that's one aspect of saying, okay, I'm buying it for self-use. The other is from a investment perspective. And when one takes something for own use, then value is kind of secondary. The functionality and the use of it is more important. You may be staying in a house which is worth, in today's parlance, 2 crores or 3 crores. You will not start evaluating that piece as long as you feel, this is the kind of accommodation I want to live in. This is what I've got. So that's one thing. And the investment is, like I said earlier, the investments as far as farmhouses is concerned is very aspirational. So, especially for the upwardly mobile people, that is what is driving demand. And like I said, connectivity. So, a lot of these aspects of long-term returns that they are able to offer, whether even if you have taken, you know, also to my mind, when you make a second home or you buy a farmhouse, it also kind of qualifies as an insurance product. If tomorrow, God forbid, there is need for something, you always have this second product which you can dispose of, if I may say. And that really gives you that strength, that ability to say, you know what, I am now insured. Why I may go in for the insurance product per se, but a second home, a farmhouse, this is what is driving a lot of demand, especially in the residential piece. And post COVID, people are getting into the mode of, when you have to do work from home, so larger houses. So people who were in 2 bedroom houses have moved to 3 bedroom. People, like said, who have a little more disposable income have moved to farmhouses, because all of it is becoming aspirational. All of it is becoming good functionality to have. So that's what I would say for people. People are moving towards this farmhouses
Side of
as a
things, right?
culture. Yeah.
Right. So, I was just thinking about while you were talking about investments all throughout, that making an investment and making sure that it's a profitable one. How a person should evaluate that when we talk about people investing across age groups, youngsters, middle age, and of course when we grow up. So, how would you recommend that their investment, whatever steps they are taking towards it, is a profitable one?
And I talk from the real estate perspective, right, because I think that's what we want to talk about. See, there are three things that you have to take care of when you do any real estate investments. The first and foremost is location. The second is location, and third is location. As long as you take care of that, it is the most critical factor, from a liquidity perspective, from a usage perspective. Even though you may pay a slightly extra amount, but if your location is good, if at some point in time you want to move out of that investment, it will be the easiest to sell. So anytime that you want to put money to work as far as real estate is concerned, consider and I'm saying in any micro market, consider the location as the aspect which is very clear. The other thing that you need to gather is that never try and time the market. A lot of people say, oh, I timed the market. Yes, it may happen that your timing is good and you get immediate returns, but never try and time the market. I think always, over the long run, real estate will give you money, will make good benefits, like we just talked about. Between 12 to 14% is the general return over the longest period. Between 10 to 15 years, always you will get that kind of return. The lowest, of course, is FD, etc. Also gold. And some people say, oh, gold has gone up so much, and this is. See, gold, over if again, the idea of looking at investment is over the long term. You're not trading in these things. You're looking at 10 years, 20 years. That's the time frame when you start buying. Always look at the long term. Real estate will give you very, very decent returns, much more than, let's say, gold, or much more than, if you were to look at last 20 years, much more than FD. Of course, equity is another aspect which one can always focus on, but real estate is very stable. You can look at it and see that it's there, while shares is a very different regime altogether. A lot of people don't really go into equity, but that's another story. But real estate will give you that return that you're opting for, much more. It'll take care of your inflation. While the inflation might be 6, 5, 6, 7%, real estate is giving you about 12%. So you will take care of your inflation, and you will always profit from real estate over the long run.
Right. So, the last question, talking about, of course, we talked about varied streams and making sure that we're also helping the viewers to understand the investment opportunities which comes with real estate. The last question before we move on to the rapid fire round, and we have a lot of our viewers who are really appreciating this chat show. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching it, and we will be taking few of your questions. Maybe not all, but few of the questions. So, global perspective. Given our international experience, what lessons or practices from global real estate market do you believe can be beneficial for the growth, sustainability of real estate sector in India, especially in the farmhouse segment, since we are talking about Ram Rattan Group?
Yeah, I think we've talked in bits about this aspect.
Yes, we did.
Is this farmhouses is an outcome of people moving away from the urban centers, and globally, the biggest contributor to that has been the outstanding infrastructure in terms of road connectivity. You go to the US, you go and meet your friends. They're generally, nobody's very close to the city center. Generally, people are having large houses, very, very large houses, away from and the biggest factor that contributes to that is the road connectivity. And and friends, this is what has in the last 5 to 10 years, as I was mentioning, India has caught up, and India is going forward on that. It's a relentless infrastructure drive which has been there for the last 5, 10 years. My view is that will continue for the next 10 years minimum or more, because we need to do a lot more in terms of connectivity. Every day you are hearing about new highways coming up, new expressways coming up, all of that. And if you are able to stay in a place which is up to 2 hours, that's it. That is what is driving the uh, the the growth of this farmhouses. This enhancement of infrastructure, to my mind, has only just begun. and is a
Right.
long way to
I
go before it
agree.
subsides in India. So happy investing.
Right. So, okay. Now, Sanjay, will move to rapid fire questions, and then, of course, we're gonna take a few of the questions which our viewers are have asked. Though I saw sustainability, I saw a few of the questions जो आपने slowly and gradually उसका आंसर दे दिया है. Still, we'll take it immediately after the rapid fire round. Are you
Sure.
ready?
Yes, please.
So, rapid fire round is, of course, as the name suggests, you need to answer quickly and maybe in the shortest way possible.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, the first question: favorite feature or aspect of luxury farmhouse?
So tranquility and peace and a sense of space, especially your own.
Top tip for enhancing the value of a real estate investment.
Development of your area of influence, specifically in the surroundings, which enhance the functionality and enhances the appeal. That's all. That's what you need to do.
Nicely said. Your view on the future of organic farming.
Huge potential. People are becoming very conscious of what to eat. They don't want to consume a lot of chemicals, and then that is where there is this great solution of farming, and the organic food is the real solution for that.
And it tastes well also, it tastes fresh.
Yep, yep,
One
definitely.
word to describe the essence of successful real estate deal.
Negotiation.
Ah, सही बात है
That's it.
पैसे में
That defines it. Otherwise, you can't do it in one word.
rightly said. Favorite aspect of being an entrepreneur?
Be the master of your own destiny, uh, and a direct benefit of your own labor.
Being your own boss. One
Yep.
piece of financial advice for startups.
I think the single most important aspect, which I give the startups, is be very meticulously aware of your cash flow. Plan it properly. Use your cash properly, because maximum number of companies don't go down because they don't have cash, but because they've used it wrongly. I think that's my biggest advice. As they say, cash is king.
मेरे को मैं ये सोच रही थी of course I'm gonna take a minute before asking the next question which is related to but you've done so much in life you have so many accomplishments achievements अब हम आपके पास हम सबकी तरह 24 घंटे ही हैं how do you do that I mean are you a night owl or a morning person do you
So
complete your work
no, I'm completely a morning person. I am a
morning person
morning person. I'm not a night owl at all. The only thing
what
I
time you
do
get up
at night is watch TV. Maybe I'm a
uh,
couch potato in that sense.
what time you get up what is your
So I get up generally at about 6 o'clock and would go for a
wow
walk and go for now at the time that I am. I go for some golf after that, and that's it. And then do your work things, and then evening is for you to enjoy.
interesting I
So
think we should
it's
learn
it's
from
the
you
start itself as you start enjoying. When you go for a walk, you meet your friends. When you go for golf, you meet your friends. So it's all about enjoying your life and taking
your
it the
day
way.
is longer. I mean, not that I follow that. I get up like a little late. But yes, I remember my Vanish detergent ad, and the call time was 5 a.m. in the morning.
Oh,
When I went for the shoot, I got over by 9:30, 10 a.m. But my day was so long, and मतलब जो मैं
correct.
एक दिन में कर पाई शायद वो मैं जर्नली थोड़ा टाइम में कर पाती हूँ और
Yeah,
मुझे पर्सनली बहुत अच्छा लगा बट स्टिल सुबह नींद तो बहुत आती है जैसा बोला जाता है so it gets difficult to get up
yeah.
you must be sleeping early right
So yeah, around 11ish, 11:30. No, I'm not that 1 o'clock or something. I'm not that kind of guy.
right biggest lesson learned from your professional failure or setback
I think the two things which stand out from failures is the importance of resilience and the importance of adaptability. It's very important to take the learnings and move around or pivot when required. And perseverance is important, and failures help you identify definitely your areas of weakness and your areas of strength.
right favorite way to unwind after a busy day what do you do
So I'm kind of a couch potato, but the other aspect, which is quite contradictory, is I love meeting people. I think people and relationships has been something which keeps me going. Right, like I said, right from the start of the morning, till the end of the day, I'm always looking out to how to meet people, whether it's lunching out, whether it's
that's a
meeting
good thing.
somebody in the evening. Always, that's the aim.
सही बात है सबसे मिलके ही there's a lot of ways and uh, of learning things networking like it said networking is
Yeah.
really helps you with your net worth so of course meeting people is the right way to understand better to think better and to learn better the last question of rapid fire before we move on to our viewers questions one word to describe your leadership philosophy
Tough to describe it in one. I'll take two:
okay
empathy and relationship. Empathy and
empathy and
relationship.
relationship your answers are all politically correct. I mean, has it been because of a varied experience in life?
My first job, I started my career 40 years ago. I am in touch with my first job, which was only for 1.5 years. I'm in touch with those people. When I was doing my CA, I articled with people. I'm in touch with them. I've been in touch with my school guys, like I'm sure everybody else also is. But I've moved many jobs, like you said, but I have been in touch with a lot of them. I have WhatsApp groups with most of the people that I've worked with. So my life has been about relationships, and most of I've had instances where I've hired people four times. When I've changed jobs, they've come along with me. So that's the power of relationship. From organization to organization, people have moved around with me. So I think that's been great. Not that it's a great thing to poach people, but it
Yeah, but
happens.
then, of course. Can we ask the team to please display a few questions so that Sanjay can answer them? So Riya Suri says, can you share a memorable experience or success story from your journey of being an entrepreneur or a mentor that has significant impact on you?
So yeah, mentor. It's how you people things change. When I used to work for Flipkart. There was be a gentleman, and I used to take the. I was a weekender in Delhi, and my workplace was Bangalore, so I used to keep going up and down. And once I was sitting next to a youngster, a real youngster. He was probably maybe in his early 20s, and I started talking to him, and he was into the space for IT security. I ended up talking to for 2.5 hours. Bangalore is a long flight. 2.5 hours. We were talking, and talking, and then like I said, I stuck that relationship that I actually ended up investing as an angel for his company. And today, he's doing very well. He's got the big wigs of John Chambers who've invested in his company, and the company's name is Safe Securities, and it is a multi-million dollar valuation, and maybe it is one of the Sunicons, as they call it. So that's something which just happened, where I was able to invest with him, understand him. He sought a lot of inputs, and we were able to give all of that. So it was a great journey, from just being on his, meeting him in a plain journey, to investing, and of course now reaping the benefit of it.
Making the right utilization of your 2.5 hours. No?
Yeah.
Avantika says, why Ram Rattan Group?
Oh, I think I've said that pretty clearly. I think the real thing about real estate investing is the trust, and the trust deficit that it has. If you are able to get somebody who can alleviate or finish off or reduce, mitigate that trust deficit, then you have to go with it. And in this case, Vijayji specifically helped me with this entire investing, and ever since, like I said, the first time that I invested with him, I've been his fan, if I may call it. And he's much younger to me, to be honest, but he's like much greater in terms of his what he's achieved for himself. And I think he's able to give so much comfort, and he does what he says he will do. It's a lot of this real estate thing you must have heard. Oh, people say something, don't do. Nothing of this kind. He's able to deliver. He has delivered, and that's what has encouraged me to invest with Ram Rattan. And clearly, it's the
Right.
trust deficit. It's the removal of that trust deficit. That's what is driving Ram Rattan Group. I think.
Rightly said. The next question Shikha asks, if I'm looking for my first investment, then is it better investing in an apartment or a farmhouse? The very first investment a person thinks of. A very tricky question for you, though.
So I think I mean, honestly, if you don't have a house of your own as of now, I think you should buy your house first. I think that is clearly something that I would say.
Right.
Uh, but if you have already have your house which you stay in, which is your own, and you want to invest, then, like I said, then you can aspire for a farmhouse. But otherwise, if it's your first investment and you don't have a house till now and you're staying in a rented accommodation, I would recommend that you convert your rent into an EMI and put money to work for buying your own flat.
So next question is from a youngster who is in his late 20s. He is asking, is investment in mutual funds better or investing in real estate?
So these are two different. It's not an either or. First of all, let me say that mutual fund is when you are entering the equity market. Mostly, I mean, although there are fixed income mutual funds also, but I'm assuming when you say mutual funds, you mean equity. Uh, See, equity investment over the long run will give you good returns. My view is better than real estate, but initially, I think for you as a 29-year-old, and my view is you wouldn't have had a house. I think you should build your corpus through investing in mutual funds to get into a house of your own. I
A
think that's
bigger,
what.
yes. आई मेरे को इतना समझ आ गया लास्ट 35-40 मिनट से बात करके कि आप you will be completing your sentence like that. We'll just take last two questions. How do you define success personally? Nikhil is asking, and how has the definition evolved through your career? What does
You know,
success mean to
let
you?
me let me start from the very beginning. Many things that I've not shared. Generally, people don't know. First, when you're studying, your success means getting through your exams. When I was doing CA,
Getting good marks.
success for me was qualifying as a chartered accountant. And little did I realize that that's the start of your problems. That's the start of your issue. So success keeps changing, like you're rightly asking. And so the success was passing exams. Success was getting a great job. Success was getting promotions, getting money wise, being comfortable. But it's like the Maslow's need hierarchy theory. It continues to evolve as you grow, and eventually success is what you want to do in life. Are you able to enjoy your job? That if you are able to do and get money for it and get paid for it, that's success. So success is and it could be very different for different people. For somebody, success could be very, for my wife who's a dog lover, success would mean she can take care of 10
Right.
dogs, or the stray dogs. Sure, we already take care of 7, but I'm saying, so success could be very differently defined for people. What could be success for me may not necessarily be
It keeps
success for you.
evolving.
So you have to find your own insight as to what is success, whether it's money, whether it's comfort, whether it's happiness. But the key is happiness. You have to be happy in what you do, and that would be success. Only money for the sake of money is not success. Happiness is the key, where you are happy. And I was reading, there was some analysis somewhere that people who live the longest are the people who've been happy through their lives, who had relationships which have made them happy. So that's what success is all about.
Right. मुझे चाहिए सबका सब. Okay,
Yeah.
Medha, I think just to let you know, Sanjay, I think this is my third episode, but as and when we move towards it, there's so many people, and because you have such varied background, I mean the number of questions which are flowing, मुझे लगता है इसका एक अलग से chat show लगना चाहिए. या जब भी हम मिलेंगे next विजय जी के साथ, I will be asking one of my assistant to give you the questions, because look at the flow of questions which are flowing all throughout. I think I'm very lucky to have you on this show, and with due respect to the varied and diverse background you have.
No, it's a privilege. It's a privilege to be associated with the group and
So
with
Medha
you.
asked, what motivated you to transition from corporate role to becoming an entrepreneur and mentor to startups? What was
You
the
know,
transition? What made
I
you
think
do
I
that?
think when I was with Flipkart and I saw these youngsters when I joined Flipkart, I told Sachin and Binny Bansal, who are the promoters,
Right.
that I'm helping them increase the average age of the company, and I see most of these youngsters, Sachin, Binny themselves were in their very early 30s. And in fact, when I joined real estate, I was also younger. My promoter was only 30 years of age. But I'm just saying that's how, which gives you the confidence that if you are able to work with these people and see these youngsters grow and manage such large institutions, create large institutions and manage them, I think it's important for you to also do something for yourself, because obviously the effort you put in is directly commensurate to the output that you get. While that's also true in the jobs that you do, but not necessarily always completely true. So there is an element of wastage which happens when you're doing a job versus what you're doing for yourself. So clearly that's what drove me to being an entrepreneur and to be a master of my own destiny in that sense. So that's
आई थिंक
really that.
मेधा शायद उस फेज में होंगी जहाँ पे वो सोच रही होंगी कि मैं करूँ तो क्या करूँ,
No,
क्योंकि आई
it's a
थिंक
difficult.
सारे यंगस्टर्स, एवरी यंगस्टर गोस थ्रू दिस.
No, it's a difficult journey because you get so used to a paycheck coming every month. That's a different kind of
आई
comfort
रिमेम्बर.
versus uh, when you don't know that, oh, you know what, you have to do 10 things to get your next check. So those are very different dilemmas of life.
I remember I resigned from EY in 2018 November. December, Jan, I took time to do my groundwork and Feb I went throughout. But हाँ वो जो 31st 30th को जो paycheck आता है और फिर नहीं आता है, बहुत hit करता है. But I think Sanjay, it was lovely to have you today because the production team is telling me there are many questions, but I would always cherish the time where you were able, आपने देखा होगा खुद, you were able to answer people, because I know these people myself. They are in my Facebook list, and I know the kind of experience they have. Few are into corporates, few are doing their entrepreneur journey, few are thinking कि करूँ तो क्या करूँ. Having your diverse background, I feel that you have very nicely answered everybody, and that's what a expertise जिसको बोलते हैं, mentor and the coaching. आपको ना professional coaching शुरू कर देनी चाहिए संजय, because I think you have framed answers so categorically right, and thank you so much for being here with us on this luxury living by Ram Rattan Group. Any last few lines which you would like to?
No, it's like I said, it's been a privilege. And what you've said greatly humbles me. I think to relate and talk about your own experience is the best thing, and if people can get any input because of that, it's very, very satisfying. I think the biggest thing that I've done from my career is mentor so many youngsters. When I became the CFO, and then I continued to be CFO of larger companies, it was so nice to see many of people that I've who worked with me earlier are themselves CFOs. So that's your biggest achievement, when you find that your own people whom you work with, who worked with you, are coming up to speed in terms of, there comes a time when you and your person who's worked for you cannot be in the same company because both need to be CFOs, right? So I think that's the great feeling of having mentored people into success, which they term as success. And this show, incredible. I'm
Thank
very pleased with what you are doing, and thank you very much for making me part of that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining in today, and thank you everybody to all the viewers who have joined in from varied platforms of Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And we are really happy to bring to you Luxury Living. It's a chat show which happens on every Saturday at 1:30 p.m. Here was Mr. Sanjay Baweja, an expert, guru, coach. You can name him all because he's a true mentor to all of us to make us understand and the true value of a leader. Thank you once again, and I'm going to see all of you next Saturday at 1:30 p.m.
Thank you. Yeah.